What did one basketball legend say to another? Well, stick with me and we'll find out just that. And nope, it's no joke. We're actually going to see what words of wisdom Kobe Bryant had for Kevin Durant. Now, before we get into this, there's something we need to settle first. So, when I say that Kobe Bryant was basically one of the greatest of his generation, and the same goes for Kevin Durant, you're probably going to agree with me. And I'm not forcing you into believing something, it's just plain facts.
You know, I grew up a die-hard Laker fan. What can I say? Mamba out.
So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the matter at hand. When Durant was just starting out, the older NBA icon actually gave him a bit of career advice, which seemed to have really stuck with him. But what did he say? Well, the forward for the Brooklyn Nets of the 2022 and 2023 season had quite a lot of players he looked up to, but it's evident that none of them held the same place as Kobe Bryant. So it kind of makes sense that he took whatever he said to heart and practically started living by it.
No, you want to win. And
Yeah.
It's really, it's hard, man. It's hard to be.
That actually sort of makes sense, because if Bryant tells you to do something, you do exactly that. And what exactly were these words? Well, the basketball legend basically told him not to be a crybaby. Okay, we're gonna need some context just for that. Now, let's set the scene. Imagine you're being transported to a time when Kobe and Kevin were both playing in the league. So, we're talking about somewhere before 2016, before the Lakers legend retired. According to reports, Kevin was only 23 years old around that time.
Well, yeah, but he was freakishly more athletic and taller than I was.
And never been around, somebody worked as hard as he did. And I learned that from him. Yeah, I had the athleticism.
So yeah, pretty young. Apparently, at this time, it seemed to him that the entire world basically just revolved around him. It seems that these words, coming from the ultimate basketball player himself, managed to pierce through his unrealistic ideas and helped him put things into perspective. Don't be a crybaby.
I think it's a great time to be able to address some of those issues and some of those challenges.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my mantra for this year. And considering how successful Kevin Durant is, it just might do a lot of people some good. But what made him say this though? So, as you know, the Nets star recently suffered a serious knee injury. Well, it seems like this incident reminded him of something that he'd previously gone through in 2019, when he ended up hurting his Achilles tendon in a game against the Toronto Raptors. And that is when Kobe said these golden words to him. What's more is that he also added, "It's gonna be fine. You'll go back to the way you were." So I guess this made Kevin realize that in the end, he had to look at the bigger picture. Kevin recalled that it was a good thing to hear him say that, since there was a point he really didn't know what was going to happen next. But of course, Kevin has also put a lot of effort into his performance.
It's a great honor, man. I've learned so much. I've said that before. I think we all know that.
And like a lot of other players, he's always found inspiration from other great players such as Michael Jordan and, you named it, Kobe Bryant. Kevin has himself admitted the fact that he tries to mold himself according to the performance of the icon. Now, I'm sure this just comes naturally to him since he shares the same passion for the game and, on top of this, also has similar styles of play. Isn't that cool?
Continue to do the therapy, continue to stretch, and get out there and.
And honestly, it's amazing that we got to see the two of them play together on the courts. Their teams often faced off against each other, and there was a time when they even played on the same team. Yup, that's right. I'm sure many of you remember the time when both of them played on the US men's basketball team.
What was the genesis for me? Who inspired me to get to this point? When I face adversity and I look at it as a challenge.
Oh, what a time to be alive, am I right? It was during this time that everyone really saw how similar they were.
You don't understand how much I wanted this thing,
Yes,
though.
I can imagine.
And when you play, all your emotions just pour out.
In fact, it even compelled the Charlotte Hornets' coach, Steve Clifford, to talk about it. Bryant may no longer be with us, which honestly sucks, but pretty much everyone remembers his beautiful performance on the courts and how it was wildly entertaining.
I'll just do that. I'll just ask questions, and I want to learn more about how they build their business, how they run their companies, and how they see the world.
Now, of course, no one will be able to achieve that level of greatness anytime soon, but Kevin Durant has come pretty close. And if Steve Clifford, out of all people, is drawing this comparison, then we've got to give him some credit, since he knows what he's talking about. The man closely observed Kevin on several occasions, and even had a chance to work with the great Kobe himself during the start of his career. According to him, while the makeup of both players is vastly different,
trying to find out what we lack mentally or
emotionally as a group. I just think they were better.
There are many ways in which they're super similar, such as their work ethic and on-court play. In his own words, Durant's a lot like Kobe to me. Clifford also said that looking at both of them brought one word to his mind: passion. He also mentioned that they were team players and cared about the result as a whole rather than worrying about their individual numbers.
Extremely means everything to me. I was such a huge Laker fan growing up. I mean, like a diehard Laker fan.
Well, it seems that KD holds the great Kobe in high regard, since it's apparent that his gameplay is inspired by him.
The only thing I notice before every game is I look up at them championship banners and think about adding more.
Kobe's close friend and basketball legend Kyrie Irving has also commented on this comparison between the two, saying that they were two great players and that it was important to look at the efforts they put in as well. Okay, that's logical. Now, all this comparison seemed cool, but were they really similar?
Now, as a kid, I used to try to do this and all, but it just wasn't comfortable to me. So, this is a position that's most comfortable to me.
Are they two of the greatest basketball players of all time? Pretty much, yeah. We already agreed upon that. But what about their performance on the court and their stats?
You don't have to be, fast or quick. But what you have to do is you have to sell the fake.
Well, guess we'll really be able to find out how similar they are after all, because if anything, math doesn't lie. Okay, don't come for me saying this, but there are some places where Kobe is at an advantage. And of course, similarly, there are some places where Kevin takes the cake. But one thing is clear, both of them, in court, are a whole lot of reliable. If you need to close a game, then you better call either of them, since they're always going to be up for the task. Kevin left the legend behind when it came to rebounds, hitting a career high of 18 in 2011, which is only one above Kobe's career high, but we're still gonna give him the point. And just like that, Kobe was better at assists and steals. And as for blocks, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin again. I am sure you're wondering what the stats say about these players, and well, seems like they've got a pretty strong opinion. So, Kobe Bryant's career high was 81 points, which just so happens to be the second highest score in the league. The Black Mamba managed to score this in 2006 during a game against the Toronto Raptors.
I can't believe how fast 20 years went by. To be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me.
And as for Kevin, he's yet to eclipse 55 points.
We've been through our ups and been through our downs. And I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout.
Now, that might come as a bit of a shock to many, since we all know that he's capable of so much more, but it seems like he's still got a lot to learn.
We stay poised. They threw a lot of junk in the game, and running and jumping us at half court.
And he's also talked about the legend in really positive terms. Kevin has often mentioned how great and humble Kobe was. He's also talked about how the Lakers icon's approach towards the game, and even his teammates, was very admirable.
Every time I step on the court is special, and I'm just grateful that I get to showcase my skills.
So, with all this in mind, Kevin has sort of always looked up to the NBA champ.
Put pressure on us all night. So you gotta give credit to them for playing a great game.
And has, in a way, tried to follow his movement. What's more is that, according to him, both Kobe and Michael Jordan were the perfect examples of what a good basketball player should be like. And in order to improve his game, he's always trying to emulate on and off the court what the two did. Well, that sounds like a recipe for success to me. That's it for the legendary advice. See you in the next video.